Today I'm going to talk about another book which I just finished in my Kindle, Homo Deus by Yuval Noah Harari, which is a continuation of another book which I put the review in a channel, Sapiens. So I'm going to talk about Homo Deus, which is A Brief History of Tomorrow by Yuval Noah Harari. This is the second book I'm reading from the same author, and I found it so interesting, easy to understand, and the storyline is very clear, and I encourage you to just read more and more until you finish it. Even though the book was quite long book and it was big, it was about 400 pages, I managed to finish it very quickly because I realized that it's very interesting. The storyline of the whole book is so interesting, and it just encourages you to just go back to the book quickly and then go to the next chapter and finish it. So the text in the book is easy to understand, it's very good. The second thing is, if you have read like Sapiens, the first book, you will realize that this is the continuation of the first book. So the Sapiens was the history of human beings, and the Homo Deus, which is, we're going to talk about in this video, is a brief history of history of tomorrow. So what is going to happen to us, I don't know, since like 100 years ago, 200 years ago, up until in future. So the first part of the book is talking about our a human being history, close history or just new history, and is basically talking about agricultural revolutions, and then move on to the industrial revolutions, and then talk about religions, which in his point of view they're all man-made, and they have nothing really to talk about these days. And then it comes to the humanism and individualism, which means basically human above everything else. They were valuing everything about humans and about every individuals on top of everything else. And then around those things we're talking about different financial systems, different humanism systems like socialism, liberalism, and a lot more to it. However, I cannot talk about all of them. First is because I forgot some of them. Second, if I want to talk about everything and then come back to all my notes and talk about all of them, the video would be very, very long. But long story short, then it will talk about humanism and then what happens to human. So the story gets very interesting when you're talking about the humanism, because the way there is a big contrast between a religion, which they know everything and they give you all the answers, and the humanism, which they value humans and every individual, their feeling, their needs and everything on top of everything else, and they don't see any power from anywhere else. And then in the next chapter is talking about what is really happening these days, which is the revolution of data. So basically the author believes we are living in an age that data matter the most, and whoever has the most data has the most power. And basically our mind, our behaviors, they're all behaving, they're all acting because of some data. And whatever we do is as a result of some algorithms. Behind those algorithms we have some data, and if we can manipulate those data or algorithms, we can control human beings. And by the way he explained those things is, for example, later on, if in the future, if we are able, which we are going to according to the book, change these data, change this algorithm, change these consequences as a result of these things. For example, a lot of things should happen in our brain, then as a result we will be happy. Or a lot of things should happen in our organs, then we're not going to get old or aging. So the author believes, according to the book and his researchers probably, according to all of these things, we are going to create a superhuman. Superhuman is a human which is going to basically, first thing first, going to work with these data. And second, the aging doesn't mean anything to to those superhumans, because now we are in that stage. When I say now, I don't mean today, I mean in the future when we get to that age. We are in this stage that we have all the data required to create new organs or stop our organs to get slower or older or less functional. And then on top of that we can change everything, and then let's say our visions, our eyes, our hearing, our heart, brain, everything going to functions in a way that they never get old. And all of them are going to happen, which makes us like never die, immortal basically. However, like again, we might have an accident or someone shoot us and then it's finished. But on the other hand, if none of these things happen, human being on its own, they're not gonna get old, they're not gonna just die because of dysfunctional organs or like illnesses, because we are going to get to that stage of like science and to get that stage of data, which we will have a lot of data. We know a lot of like, we can either predict all of those things, or we can just stop all of like those illnesses, because now we have like this sort of organs which they are intelligent, they are going to fight back against a lot of illnesses, or they're going to just recover basically. So anyway, what I really found out about the book is he has, again, like his first book Sapiens, he has a very interesting point of view about how human society basically is, where the human society is coming from, what happened to us now, and what is going to happen to us in the future. And it sounds very interesting, because when you see his point of view about our future, you realize that his predictions, or his scientific prediction, is easy to understand, and it's easy to see it, because we are really close to that age. We are very close to the age of like a data revolution, because even now a lot of things are happening because of the data. The more data you have, the more power you have, and you can see it like in a big like companies like Google, Facebook, Microsoft. They're all fighting for data, nothing more. And anyway, so just coming back again to the book, which I found it very interesting, because his point of view again is different, very interesting, clear. It's quite easy to see it, or like feel it or touch it in everyday life. And at the end, he believes we might like just have a superhumans, and by having superhumans, we will be controlled by AI, artificial intelligence, and also IoT, Internet of Things, which we might end up like these two, like AI and artificial intelligence and IoT, Internet of Things, might end up human races, because they are in charge, they have more controls, and you never know. I found it very interesting, very, very easy to read, and also the idea behind this, like whatever he is talking about, is quite logical, quite understandable, and if you're not like misjudging whatever he says, I think you will find it. Most of them are happening. You can see a lot of them if you change your point of view, if you change your angle from a lot of things happen around us, and you realize that the book is trying to just talk about one of the other ways that a lot of people are talking about how the world will finish, or what is going to happen to us in the future. So in this book, you're going to read one of the interesting way of like all of these theories. So please let me know what you think about the book. Just leave the comment, and if you enjoy reading this book or my other videos, please don't forget to subscribe, share, or like the video, which is going to affect on a YouTube algorithm. And I'll see you next time.